Good evening and welcome to the Veterans Disability and Human Services Commission meeting for October 14th, 2020. I am Carissa Perry, the chair of the commission. Ms. Perry, please call roll.
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Commissioner Cooper?
Here.
Commissioner Daigle?
Here.
Commissioner Hansel?
Here.
Commissioner Herzog?
Here.
Commissioner Kemp Partridge?
Here.
Commissioner Moore?
Here.
Chair Perry?
Here.
Commissioner Van de Langright?
Here.
Vice Chair Witzel?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Will everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please rise as you are able.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic to which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much. So at this time, for our current events, I'm gonna read off a couple of things that we have going on. So, in lieu of Veterans Day parade this year, the Surprise Parks and Recreation Department will be celebrating and honoring our veterans virtually through video submissions and signs. Everyone is encouraged to participate by making a video showing your appreciation to our veterans or creating a sign. Signboards are available to be picked up. For more information, please visit the City of Surprise website or call the Parks and Recs Department at 623-222-2267. Also at this time, we have the rent, mortgage, utility, and job assistance that is available. If you or someone you know needs assistance, please contact the Surprise Resource Center at 623-222-1600 or visit them during operating hours. Or visit the City of Surprise website under the Human Services and Community Vitality Department. Income qualifications apply. Volunteers are needed to help with the Veterans Income Tax Assistance Program, or VITA. Facilitated by the nonprofit organization A New Leaf, VITA helps people file their taxes each year at no cost. Last year, hundreds of Surprise families were served by volunteers of this program. If you would like to be trained as a VITA volunteer for the 2021 tax year, please call 623-847-4188, extension 4516. Volunteers are also wanted to help support food at St. Mary's, to sort food at St. Mary's Food Bank on November 4th as part of the next City of Surprise Day of Service program. It's always a great day. 2 shifts are available from 7:30 to 10:30 or 10:30 to 1:30. To register or to learn more, please contact Larry Garcia with the City of Surprise at 623-222-1522. All right, and also at this time, I'd also like to report that Commissioner Chandler has resigned, so she'll no longer be part of the commission. And now as we move on, as you are aware, our November meeting has been canceled because of it following on Veterans Day. So since we will not be here in November meeting, we thought it would be a good time for the commissioners if they would like to say something about veterans. So for me tonight, I actually have a poem that I would like to read. It is written by another veteran by the name of Lynn Carey, and it's titled Veteran. I was a proud veteran that served my country well. To those that would listen, I had many stories to tell. We fought for America's freedom in faraway places on foreign land. Wherever the battle for democracy raged, America's finest made a stand. We fought for your future and the rights to remain free. For we saw what freedom meant to those not blessed with liberty. For you and yours, we would gladly have given our life. We faced the fears and perils of battle. We braved endless turmoil and strife. Please remember us veterans and the sacrifice we made for you. Please share the blessings of freedom. Proudly wave the red, white, and blue. Vice Chair Wetzel, do you have anything you would like to say?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm going to share a quote from John F. Kennedy,
As we express our gratitude, we must never forget that the highest appreciation is not to utter words, but to live by them. This was given at a speech at Arlington National Cemetery on November 11th, 1963, less than 2 weeks before he would be assassinated. And I ask that everybody just remember that be the kind of citizen that's worth defending and be the kind of veteran that's worth protecting when you come home. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Brown?
Yes, I'd like to make mention that welcome home to all of our veterans from all wars. And let us not ever forget this month this is also the POW month and the missing in action. We don't want to forget those that never came home. And also want to recognize that this is the month for our own legacy for the living. It's time that, and I'm sad to see that the Veterans Parade has gone by the wayside this month because of this COVID-19. And but still, veterans, get out there, show yourself in the public, wear your hats, wear your shirts, wear your ribbons, wear your badges. Be proud of what you served for, and be proud of the country you served for. And just remember those that are homeless, remember all those that are in need right now, that are on the street. We got a lot of veterans out there that need help. And may we all share this time together with them in our prayers and thank them for all their service too. Because every time you thank a veteran, it makes their heart pump just a little bit better. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Brown. Commissioner Cooper?
Sure, I'm just going to read a quick quote from Teddy Roosevelt, the Man in the Arena quote that many of you may be familiar with. So it goes, it's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. Credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. And as a veteran, that was a quote that meant a lot to me during my time in service. And so I would just like to send a thank you out to all those people, men and women, but also the families that supported them through all of those trials and tribulations, for actually being in the arena, standing in the gap for all of us in those times of achievement and those times of troubling times, for our country overseas. And yeah, that's just what I'd like to say. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Cooper. Commissioner Daigle?
Thank you, Vice Chair Perry. I am blessed with the opportunity to give a shout out to the brave men and women of all branches of the military. The sacrifices and courageous actions at home and on foreign soil is what has made America the land of the free. My deepest gratitude to all the veterans and deepest sorrow to the Gold Star family members. Thank you so much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Commissioner Daigle. Appreciate that.
Very good.
All right, Commissioner Hansel?
Well, what can you say about veterans other than thank you? I've had the privilege of working with many veterans here on this commission and in my personal life, and they still strive to contribute to their community, their state, and the country. I'm the grandson of a World War II veteran who walked ashore at Normandy, the son of an Army warrant officer, the nephew of a Vietnam veteran, and the brother of a retired Army medic. There are many, many more families like mine throughout the country who've served our country in one capacity or another, in peacetime and in war. one day a year really isn't enough to thank them. We should really remember to thank veterans every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Herzog. Appreciate that. Commissioner Herzog?
I think the biggest thing that you can do for a veteran, or at least in my case, is walk up to them, give them a pat on the back, and tell them thank you for your service. That means more than anything else, and anything you can throw at them, just a simple thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Herzog. Commissioner Kim Partridge?
I wrote up a personal statement, and I would have to agree with Commissioner Hansel as far as every day should be a Veterans Day. So I would agree with that. But on behalf of myself, my family, our community, and as a representative of this commission, I want to take a moment to honor all veterans who have served our country. Without your dedication and service, our country would not be as strong as it is today. We appreciate your hard work and sacrifice. Thank you again.
Thank you, Commissioner Kim Partridge. Commissioner Moore?
I too will thank the troops. I agree that we need to thank them. I also believe we need to ask them what can we do for them, because it's more than just saying we support our troops. We actually need to do something. There are excuse me, there are way too many homeless. There are way too many with mental issues. I want to give you a little note. In 2017, Pew Research Center conducted a survey of favorability ratings of 10 of our major United States agencies. Among them, the FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, Department of Justice. Our Postal Service has an 11% unfavorability rating. 11% think the post office is not doing a good job. 34%, which is the lowest of the 10, think our government is doing a bad job at taking care of our veterans. So rather than just say we support our troops and thanking the veterans, we need to get off our you-know-whats and vote for officials that will do something about this. The disgrace of Walter Reed Hospital and other situations cannot exist. Our veteran force continues to dwindle. There are fewer and fewer every decade that goes by. What's the incentive to go put your on the line when you come home, there's nothing for you? That's why I serve on this commission, amongst other things. We need to take care of the troops, not just say we love the troops, both active and past veterans. Thank you for the time.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Moore. Appreciate that. Commissioner Vandelingwe?
Yes, Chair. I just would like to say, as a disabled veteran of the United States Marine Corps, I am very grateful for the care that the Veterans Administration gives to me. As you know, right now, I am awaiting surgery to put my leg back together again, and the VA has finally scheduled that for November 13th. So I look forward to joining you all in January. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Vandelingwe. We look forward to having you here with us in person again. All right. I want to thank all of our commissioners for their remarks towards our veterans. We are one to really hold our veterans near and dear to our hearts. So as we move on, does any of the commissioners have anything that they would like to report today? Nope. All right. So then at this time, we'll go ahead and do our call to the public, but I want to remind the commissioners that we are not permitted to interact with the individuals as they address the commission. All right. So, Ms. Perry, do we have any calls to public requests to address the commission this evening?
I've had no request, Chair.
All right. Thank you. All right. With that, we'll go ahead and close the call to the public, and we will move to our first agenda item, which is the consideration and action pertaining to the approval of the September 9th, 2020 Veterans Disability and Human Services Commission meeting minutes. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions about the meeting minutes? Okay, so at this time, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the minutes of the September 9th, 2020 meeting.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. So our next item of business is we have Sherry Aguilar, who is our city clerk and also our resident historian. She is going to be presenting to us tonight about the accessibility of voting. As we know, voting is starting to take place, and we want to make sure that everyone has information that they might need. Sherry, thank you for joining us.
Oh, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to give you a brief presentation on our general election. And boy, has it started already, let me tell you. It's been an amazing turnout already, and our early voting barely started October 7th, so I'll give you some
Nice.
highlights. Early voting, it started with a bang on October 7th. Our first day here at City Hall, we're a 27-day early voting site. And what's different about this election year is that because of COVID, the county wasn't able to confirm a lot of the sites that they would have in the past, like they would have use of churches and schools, and so they had to do some rearranging and thinking outside of the box of what they can do. So what they've done is all the voting centers that they have now are what they call voting centers that will allow anyone to vote anywhere. So if you're registered in Maricopa County, you could go to the East Valley and vote at one of their voting sites. We have people coming here that are maybe going for a drive for the day, and then they realize, oh, there's a voting center there, so I'm just gonna swing in and I'm gonna vote. So we've had some people from the East Valley come out here to vote. So on our first day, October 7th, the very first day, we had a record number of over 900 people voted in person. And that is absolutely amazing. Usually the first week, maybe 2 weeks, there's very, very little voting activity going on. Early ballots were mailed out on that same day, and so some people were receiving them by Thursday afternoon. Those ballots have started to come in to be dropped off, so you can, drop off your ballots here as well. Right now, we've had almost 6,000 walk-ins with ballot drop-offs, which is a record. And so I know the county, the recorder was saying that they mailed out over 2 million ballots. So that's a lot of ballots to be able to be distributed in a quick fashion. So City Hall here every day, all day long, has been nonstop activity with people coming in. We had them lined up at like 6:30 in the morning. Polls didn't open until 8. So they're excited to vote, which is great for us. I've given you all a copy of the presentation, and I've also given you one of our city clerk's brochures that highlights what we do in the office. And then I also included a bookmark. What's really neat about the bookmarker is I worked with the League of Women Voters and Dysart School System, to come up with a bookmark contest. And so out of that contest in 2016, this is the bookmarker that we came up with. And students, we had first, second, and third place. And so the winner, their art was placed on that bookmark. We also put a barcode on the bookmark, which if you scan that, it goes right to the Maricopa County election site, and you can register to vote. So we've had those bookmarkers everywhere, and every time we do any type of an event out in the city, we have those with us. So here are the hours that this changed several times over the last few weeks. This is now set, hopefully, no changes. The county wanted to do some different things. They're going to have weekend voting. That's not going to start until the 24th. They'll open that Saturday 9 to 7. So right now it's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Then there's going to be a time period from 10:26 to 10:31, open at 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. for people who are getting out of work and want to drop by and vote. And then, of course, on General Election Day, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. So whoever's in line at 7 p.m., if there's 100 people in line, at 7 p.m., they'll still get to vote. So they have a really good system in place, and they have their troubleshooters and their inspectors that'll be monitoring the polls. Another thing that they're doing differently is a ballot drop-off location at the Surprise Stadium. There will be no in-person voting there, but if someone wanted to drive through, drop off their ballot, these are the dates that will be available: 10/24, 10/31, 11/1, 11/2, and 11/3. 11/3 being election day, all day. They'll have those sites marked, and of course with signs leading them into the parking area for voting. And we were able to secure Happy Trails Resort, which is a gated community, but they will be open for anyone in the Far West Valley that would like to drive into their community to vote on election day. And starting on 10/28 through 10/30, 9 to 7, then 11/2, 9 to 5, and then of course on election day, 6 to 7. And then Spirit of Grace Lutheran Church and Sun City Grand, which is great because that is our biggest voting district. So they have usually 85% turnout for voting, which is awesome. So I'm really excited to talk to you today. I know that we met and had a discussion with Ms. Partridge on special accommodations. So the county offers special accommodations for anyone that is disabled, who is not able to go into a physical location to vote. And if you know of someone that needs assistance, all you have to do is call the county elections department. They send out what they call an elections board, an SEB, and they'll have a group of people go out to the location to help the voter cast their vote. And so they've made it really easy if someone does need assistance, that they're able to do this. One other option that you have is if you drive to City Hall, but you don't feel comfortable about getting out and walking into the building, you can drive up to one of the designated parking spots out here in front of the Surprise City Court. There's a marker and a phone number. You call the phone number, and someone from inside this building and the elections, one of the poll workers, they'll go out to the vehicle. And I do understand in August, they did this 22 times. So someone drove up, there was a couple that were diagnosed with COVID. So they didn't want to come inside City Hall, of course. They made the call, they were able to go out to the vehicle, take their ballots, practice their safe measures as well. They were able to vote. And so I think this is a wonderful service for anyone that needs that. And so, of course, if you come into the building, we have accessible, with a ramp outside, and the way that the voting room is set up, that they can meet your accommodations. So, do I have any questions about this part of it? I know this is very important, and if you know of someone that needs assistance, please let us know. Yes, sir.
If somebody's requested an early ballot, but they complete it, can a family member drop it off for them if they're at risk?
So yes, they can. So one of the things that we're trying to be really careful with, there's been some legislation passed regarding ballot harvesting, and I don't know if you've ever heard of that, where somebody might bring in 10 ballots, pick up their neighbor's ballots. They're discouraging that, but if you have someone that lives in your household, like I could bring my husband's in, or any other family members, you're able to do that and drop them off here at City Hall in one of the ballot boxes. And also the drive-through at the stadium, when you do that drive-through as well, you'll be able to do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on this particular part of the presentation? We're just talking about the drive-up voter assistance. I'm excited to see, because we've had so many people coming here. So they've read about it, they've seen our social media posts, but that is not taking place here at City Hall. That is one of the recommendations I made, but they felt they needed a bigger venue for that. So I'm hoping that people will take advantage of that. So one of the things that we've been monitoring lately is, when we had our schedule, October 5th was the last day to register to vote. And so October 5th came around, there was a court filing, and a judge did a ruling of extending the voter registration to October 23rd. In the meantime, there was a protest. A couple of different organizations protested. So as of today, the ruling is for voter registration to close tomorrow, October 15th, 5 p.m. in person, or 11:59 online. We're encouraging anyone that's not registered yet to please register online. That way they have the information immediately. One of the things that's happening here, we've had people walk in that are not registered. In the voting room, the poll workers are able to register them and allow them to vote a provisional ballot. So, of course, that's helping out because people were not really sure what they can do about this. So instead of them turning in a paper form, then it has to be mailed. This way, they're able to do this in one stop or register online. And so the last day to request a ballot by mail is October 23rd. One of the things about Surprise is we used to have ballot by mail elections for many years. All of our elections were ballot by mail. When the state ruled to consolidate all the cities and towns that did not have a charter, we had to go with polling locations again. We really targeted permanent early voter list, and so 80% of our residents are on the early ballot list. So that's huge for a city of our size. So if you're not comfortable with voting early ballot, we've had those calls, all the information that's out there right now in the media. If you're not comfortable with voting that mail ballot, you can still walk into City Hall and vote in person all the way through Election Day. So if you know of someone that's uncomfortable about that, they do have alternatives. Weekend voting starts again on October 24th, and last day to mail your ballot back, October 27th. There's some concern about that as well. I say bring your ballot here. The ballots are picked up every day, and as many that have been dropped off here, they've been picking up twice a day here. Ballot box, the large ballot box holds 600 ballots, and they've picked them up twice. So that's how many ballots are coming in every single day. So encourage anyone that asks if they want to drop them off here, they're welcome to do that. And of course, Election Day, November 3rd. One of the programs that they have at the county, which I've taken advantage of this, and so it's BeBallotReady.vote. You have your ballot mailed to you. If you sign up on this particular website, it will notify you when your ballot's being mailed. I got my ballot. They mailed it out Wednesday. I got it Friday. I mailed it back. By Tuesday of this week, yesterday, I had a notice that they had already received my ballot and that signature's already been verified. It's really neat because then you wonder sometimes if you mail your ballot, how do you know that they received it and where is it at in the process? This is a really neat tool to use if you're interested, BeBallotReady.vote. Overall, that's the gist of our election information that I wanted to share with you today, and I'm here to answer any other questions that you might have.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to hear of all the different ways that people can do it this year, because I know that was kind of unnerving for some because of the whole COVID that we're currently in. A lot of options, and we've become more friendly with it too over the years.
Absolutely, and they're practicing social distancing, and the poll workers are, they're not only wearing masks, they've got the shields and they've got the gloves, and they have the spacer of 6 feet, so they're doing everything they can to make your voting experience a good one.
Yeah, it's nice that those that can't make it here have
Sherry,
assistance.
I have a question for you.
Sure, Larry.
My sister-in-law lives over in Paradise Valley in the Phoenix area, just 42nd Street and just south of Greenway. And she was over there at the college, was supposed to be where she could drop off her things at 40th and Union Hills, and she went up there and was closed. They sent her to 2815 West Bell Road. She went over there and they said, well, you're out of my district. We can't accept your ballots.
So I am sorry
So
about that.
You mentioned that they're supposed to be able to go anywhere in the county.
Someone didn't get the memo, apparently. So they're all voting centers. And what that means is, it used to be on Election Day, they have to go to their designated poll.
Yeah.
That is no longer the case. Because of COVID, this is the reason why they made the changes. So it's voter convenience. If she was to come out to Surprise, she could drop her ballot off here. She could vote in person here. It's
She's
ballot on
watching
demand.
today, so she'll probably
Yeah.
get it.
And I'm sorry, she received the incorrect information. So she wants to put it in the mail and send it back. That's great. But not all the sites are 27-day sites.
Yeah.
Some of them are maybe 12 days.
Okay. Yeah, they told her she had to come back on the 23rd or something.
That's probably why. They do have all the sites listed. There's there's very few 27-day sites like what we have here. And so probably with all that information online, it's probably a 12-day site.
Yeah, okay. But great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other?
Anyone else have any? Okay. Commissioner.
Do you know if you have to have a state ID or a driver's license in order to vote? Is that a mandate?
Yes. So when you come in, if you have you need to have a photo ID. And some people are coming in with outdated driver's license. Then they ask that you bring in maybe a car registration, a utility bill that has the correct address. And with the updated equipment that they have, the computerized system, you're able to make all those changes in the system. But if you have a correct ID, you just scan that and it'll pull up all your information and you push a button to say this is correct information. That's sent to the printer. They print off your ballots, ballot on demand. So, but there's several pieces of ID that you can bring in to identify if you have a voter ID card. So,
Sorry, I want to make sure. So if somebody's just turned 18, because right now MVD is just not operating and they don't have an actual driver's license or a state ID, there's nothing that they can use to actually be able to register to vote at this point. Is that?
Service Arizona?
They can do.
Did you say they're not 18 yet?
They are 18.
Okay, so
yeah,
they can
they're
go on
19.
Service Arizona?
Yeah.
Let me think about this for a second. I know that if you have a passport.
Yeah, so that's kind of the challenge that I'm seeing is like a lot of the kids that have graduated high school that have had disabilities, they might have a military ID or they might have some sort of school ID, but they don't have a state ID or a driver's license. And I'll say, get in there and register to vote, and I'm working on that, but they don't have state IDs. And then there's like a 2-week, 3-week, 4-week waiting to go and get an ID. So I just didn't know if there was another way around that to get them to be able to vote.
There's a list of, if you go to the website, there's a list of several pieces of identification that they could use. One of them is a passport, and then something that has their actual physical address on it. Utility bills. My goodness, I know you're saying if someone is a student that they'll have to have just a couple. If they have a school ID,
yeah, better have to have the address on it, right?
Yeah.
So
maybe 2 pieces of ID.
Okay.
If they wanted to come in and before 5 p.m. tomorrow, if they're able to, come here to the voting center, and then they'll be able to get them registered, and hopefully they'll have the information that they'll need to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm just curious with that, with an 18-year-old that turns 18 after the cutoff, but before the election cannot vote?
That is correct. They have to be registered by October 15th by 11:59.
Okay, and just out of curiosity, what was the opposition to extending that?
It was a couple of groups that filed because of COVID. They felt that they weren't able to do their door-to-door voter registration drives for people that didn't have access to the internet, that weren't able to go into motor vehicle. They haven't been able to process, the driver's license and voter registration. So they were granted that to the 23rd. Unfortunately, what that does is makes things more difficult for the state and the county because they already have their set voter registration roster by the 5th, mail out the ballots on the 7th. So it was a bit of a challenge, but with that new filing extended to tomorrow, it's a little more manageable.
Okay, and thank you for your service to the city for 100 and how many years now?
Okay, right? Feels like 100? I don't know. I enjoy every minute of it. I really love elections. I know that may sound odd, but I really do. It's exciting time, and I love spreading the word about our election process. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, all right, Sherry. I do appreciate it
Yes,
that you
thank
come in
you
to give
so
us this
much.
information. A lot of good information for us.
Thank you.
And it's always nice to have our surprise historian here too. So
Next time you'll have to give me a quiz.
thank you.
Thanks, Sherry.
All right. So the next item that we have is the discussion on our Care and Share Expo, our virtual campaign that we are doing. The working group met with the city to try and get the ball rolling, because our goal is to have our one-page ad out the Wednesday after the election. So we're going to do a big push at that point to try and get the word out, right? So we've kind of have a name tagline to it, and Seth can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's everyone needs, you know, just trying to make sure that we are hitting everything and that those people who are looking for jobs or teens who are feeling hopeless, that's, you know, they'll see it and be able to know and be able to go to that information. Because it might not be right at that moment, but they might know someone, or it might be sometime down the road that they'll know someone. And with it being tagged that way, I think they will be able to more recognize it, kind of bring it closer into themselves to fill it versus, you know, resources type things. So we've been doing that. We're going to, as I said, do our one-page ad, and then we're going to do virtual campaigns after that, one a week. Is that correct, Director Dyson? Okay, so we'll be doing one a week, and it's going to highlight different areas, but then we're going to go back to our resource guide, because again, if commissioners have not looked at our resource guides, I know it's in our envelopes, I encourage you all to look at them and see what's available in them and hand them out to people if you come across people that might need them. I do it all the time. So I like our resource guides. A lot of good information for everyone out there. And I think, so they're working on that now, correct? All right, Director Dyson, do you have anything to add to what I've said?
No, I think you did a good job, Madam Chair. I'd just like to compliment the work group. They put a lot of time and effort and thought into this. Our marketing and communications team is very talented. They're working on it right now. We'll get a draft to you so you can see the work group, so you can see it before it goes out. But the Wednesday after the election is when we hope to have that full page ad. And then once a week over the next 3 weeks on social media, do a big push. And so more to come. We're very excited to try this out. We've never done this before. So thank you for your leadership. And I think you covered the rest of it. So.
Yeah, and I think after the push in November, we're going to do something in January just to kind of follow through. If I remember, is that when that went out? But we're going to do something as a follow through.
Yeah, Madam Chair, I think there's still discussion to be had on what that follow-up looks like. Okay. So that's not been resolved. But as you said, and so if anyone's watching or listening, all of the resources are already out there. We just want to draw awareness to those resources. So the Community Resource Guide is in English and in Spanish on our city website under our Human Service Community Vitality page. There's a lot of veteran resources, a lot of special needs resources, a lot of human service resources. So we're trying to bring attention to all of that. But if anyone has a question, they need to talk to someone, we want to direct them to our Surprise Resource Center. We've got a very talented team there who, if they don't have it on site, they know where to reach out for it, or they know to refer. So if you're looking for a number to call, if you don't want to look at a book and you just want to talk to somebody, please reach out to our Surprise Resource Center.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Commissioner Daigle, Vice Chair Wetzel, did I miss anything from the working group? Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So as we are moving on, as we need to approve the, we have a consideration and action pertaining to the approval of the revision of the Veterans Disability and Human Services Commission meeting schedule for fiscal year 2021. If you look at, we added in the meetings that we have next week on the 21st and 22nd as we do our strategic plan retreat. So I make a motion to approve the revised meeting schedule for fiscal year 2021.
I move that we approve the revised meeting schedule for fiscal year 21.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Ms. Perry, do a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooper? Yes. Commissioner Daigle?
Yes.
Commissioner Hansel?
Yes.
Commissioner Herzog?
Yes.
Commissioner Kent Partridge?
Yes.
Commissioner Moore?
Yes.
Chair Perry?
Yes.
Commissioner Vandelangright?
Yes.
Vice Chair Witzel?
Yes.
Unanimous yes vote, Chair.
Thank you. All right, so our next item that we have is our discussion introduction to the Veterans Disability and Human Services Strategic Plan that we will be starting up. I'm really excited that we're finally getting to this point. It's been a long time coming. So I do appreciate the time that everyone is putting forth into this and the time that we've been given. It is all.
Good evening, not afternoon anymore, right? Went right by. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Commissioners, for having me. I'm Ana Maria Maldonado. Can you hear me?
No.
Oh, I'll speak up. Is that better? Yeah. I'm Ana Maria Maldonado, Phoenix International Consultant, and have been asked to help guide discussion on strategy and strategic plan based on the foundation of the needs assessment. So last time we spoke, I don't know if you remember, we had a little bit of discussion on strategic planning, what that looks like, also giving out a review and a link for the needs assessment. It had been a while, given this year has been a little bit, I think, in a time warp, right? 2020, the needs assessment came out late, if you remember, late last year, 2019, December. And the city was, I think, generous in the sense of putting quite a few resources into a very capable group and organization to give you a great foundation on needs and assessment of the community. And in that, at the same time, I believe we morphed two commissions together, right? To make a super commission, I think, if you will, really addressing the needs of the community again, with families, with children and vulnerable individuals, homeless, veterans, and really looking at vulnerability as a whole for the entire community, and bringing in all of you as subject area experts for your own experience and experiences to kind of put that together. So I just want to say thank you for having me. I really look forward to our discussion. And I also wanted to say thank you to the veterans in the room for their service. Thank you very much. I think next year we'll have a super parade. Hopefully we get past this, right? So thank you for your service. So tonight, really quickly, just to go through, we really wanted to talk about, I think, when we spoke last, was how do we want to form our time together, given it was going to be about 8 hours worth of work, how we wanted to do that. And I think kind enough to staff, thank you, Seth, and I think leadership here on the commission came to a consensus that we would do it in 2 4-hour days. I'm hopeful that we can get through it, quicker than the 4 hours per time, because that is quite a bit of time. But I think that will rely on us in terms of our preparedness and how ready we are for robust discussion. So I'm going to facilitate that discussion, and that discussion is going to be based on the foundation of the needs assessment, right, and prioritizing the needs. So the needs assessment is basically the foundation. It's basically our destination. Where do we want to get to? And the strategic plan is us building a map of how we're going to get there, and building a map that also gives us some priority on goals and actions, and then maybe some temperature checks along the way, milestones, to keep us honest with each other on how we're doing running through that strategic plan on that road trip, if you will, following our map. So I think the most imperative piece is really to be well versed in the needs assessment. And really the bulk of what we will be focusing on in that needs assessment really starts on page 75, where it's really laid out on what high priority needs are for the community. Before that page 75, it's really how did they get there? They're giving you information and background on how the researchers got there. So really being prepared for that discussion. And then I sent out a link for just a kind of oversight or overview of strategic planning, and sort of what does that mean when you're looking for putting together a strategic plan, and really that map on how you're going to get there. And so with that, if anybody has any questions related to the needs assessment strategic planning in general. I think that as long as we're prepared for great, robust discussion, again, I'm going to facilitate discussion. I'm not necessarily going to be part of it. I'm not a commissioner. You all are going to actually come to the table with the mind power, the brain power on how do we get there. I can give you some experience that I've had in the past. Have spent a lot of time in human services. I think I told you before was with healthcare specifically from the managed care organization. So really managed care is the insurance companies, and the insurance companies in healthcare are sort of the bank of the industry. They pay out all the money for all of the services and have the benefits. And in the last 10 years, with modernization of healthcare and really holding ourselves accountable to how do we create healthier communities and really have cost savings, making sure that people are healthy but are less costly, which means not as sick. Healthcare spent a lot of time and energy and effort really strategic partnering with human service, because without basic needs, we know people are not healthy. There's no way anybody who is homeless or doesn't have a roof over their head or is struggling to pay the bills or have something to eat can even think about, when do I get in for preventive care, or how do I monitor how I'm doing? How am I doing mentally? And we know that mental health dictates a lot of our physical health. So I have a lot of experience, many years in that, so I can give some feedback on what I've had experience in doing, but really looking forward to what it is that you bring to the table in terms of solutions or suggestions on how to build that strategic plan. Any questions? Great. Well, I'm super excited to spend 2 nights with you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marie.
I'm looking forward to our meeting to be able to learn more and make sure that we have a really good discussion, so that way we can be out there and set the parameters, make sure we're helping everyone and meeting our goals in that case. You know, I know strategic plans are not easy because I have written them. They're not easy to do. They're time consuming, but with everyone's help, we'll be able to get through it and make it really well, since this is the first one that we've done for the city. Yes.
I have a question. Our strategy session, we got a date and we got times and everything, but
That's the meeting next week.
Pardon?
That's their meeting next week on the 21st and 22nd.
where?
Here.
Here, okay, I'll make sure.
Good question, because I would have been with you in the parking lot lost.
Pardon?
I said, good question, because I would have been in the parking lot lost with you.
Yes. For those that we will be meeting in here for the strategic planning meeting. Okay.
And that's on the 20, the date again, just to come,
The 21st and 22nd,
21st, 22nd, okay, I thought
5
you
to 9. Yep.
said it was a different date.
No, it's the fine. Commissioner Cooper?
Yeah, I just, I'm curious, are we just going to be working off of the assessment that came out? Or is there going to be, like, is there a broader intent that we're gonna get from city council, city manager, mayor's office that's gonna kind of drive directions that we travel and how we bring forward a plan for the assessment to meet council's intent for how they intend to move forward with certain things? Or are we just purely going off of the assessment and then we're gonna kind of come together, mind meld it all, bring some, you know, some solutions or some action items up that will then forward up or bubble up to the council or you, Seth, or whoever's gonna be the action officer for that?
Yeah, so Madam Chair, Commissioner Cooper, yes, the council has set kind of a high-level objective for this group, and it's really to raise awareness and share information and resources about you know, services that many of our residents need. So they set in our code kind of our charter, and then they've asked us to come up with a strategic plan. And we said, while we were transitioning from the Disability Advisory Commission to this new commission, we said, well, before we do that, we need data, and we need to ask our residents what they need, what are those gaps. And so our hope is through kind of a high-level strategic plan that we can meet some of those objectives maybe that's found within the needs assessment, or maybe there's something that wasn't in there that we've learned since, that you all come and bring data with and say, you know what, we saw this, we read this, but it missed with this one point. And if you bring that data, I think this group would be open to talking about it. And then this ultimately gets approved by this group, but it'll also go to our city council. They'll want to know what your strategic plan is, and they'll get to chime in on it to say, that's exactly not what we thought we wanted you to do, or they can say, absolutely, we love your direction. It fits the charter, the code. And so you have some wiggle room within that, but as Ana Maria said, the needs assessment really helps guide us into certain areas of focus, and we wanted that strategically before we get started on that. So I hope that answers your question. All right.
Thank you. Anyone else have anything before I? All right. Okay, so at this time, if commissioners have any other business or future agenda items that they would like. Yes, Commissioner Herzog.
When do we, as a commission or whatever, when do we actually do something? I mean, when do we come up with an idea and present it to the city?
It's going to start.
I mean, we can't talk about this at a certain time, and we have to plan ahead for this and everything else. And just, I had a simple idea that would help the city and help the veterans immensely, but you don't know when and where you can bring them up at.
I know that we're going to be moving with our strategic plan being presented. That will help as well in being able to cover what we want to do to be able to present it to the city in that instance. Director Dyson, do you have anything to add to that?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Herzog, I think
it's really not related to. It's not really related to what we're running over here. And if I talk to you about it separately, maybe I'm violating something I'm trying to do on.
No, so if you would like to add something to the future agenda on a certain topic, now's the time to do it. So the chair opened it up. So if you have an idea to help a veteran, then you can add it and we can discuss it. You're always welcome to reach out to myself, and we can see what question you're wanting to get answered. But we're going to have 8 full hours also of idea sharing in the next week. So
it'll wait till then.
Okay.
Anyone else have any future agenda items they would like to see, or any other business that they would like to see? No. Okay. So then with that, I will go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, it's unanimous.
Come back to
We're
bed.
adjourned until Wednesday, till the 21st of October.
With shops and restaurants reopening, it's more important than ever to shop and dine locally. Supporting local businesses not only maintains and creates new local jobs and ensures you have a variety of cool places to frequent, but it also